I'd spent months planning the trip to my new mountain cabin, imagining the first quiet moment I'd step onto the porch. But when my truck reached the final curve in the road, that peaceful picture shattered instantly. My cabin, supposed to be empty, was crowded with strangers, cars lined the driveway, smoke rose from the grill, and a loudspeaker blasted music across the ridge. And at the center of it all stood Karen, staring at me like I was invading her kingdom. Before I even closed my truck door, she stormed toward me and demanded to know why I was trespassing on her family's mountain lodge. She said her grandfather built it, her family had spent every holiday there, and there was no chance someone like me could ever own it. Her relatives cheered behind her as if she was leading a rally. I told her calmly that I had bought the cabin legally, but she laughed in my face. "You got scammed," she said. "No one in my family would ever sell our legacy." Then she threatened to call the sheriff if I didn't leave immediately. What she didn't know was that I hadn't just bought the cabin, I owned the entire ridge. The land her family was standing on, the road they drove in on, and the trails they claimed were theirs, but instead of arguing, I simply waited. Karen called the sheriff with dramatic panic in her voice, telling him a stranger had broken into her family's property. When he arrived, she greeted him like a hero, pointing at me and repeating her story. The sheriff asked for documents, so I handed him the deed, survey maps, and tax receipts. The moment he read them, everything changed. He turned to Karen and said, "Ma'am, none of this belongs to you. He owns the cabin, and he owns the entire ridge." The shock on her face was instant. Her family went silent. Someone even turned off the music. Karen tried to fight it, claiming her grandfather built the steps, insisting they had traditional mountain rights. But the sheriff shut her down. He ordered her family to pack up and leave the property immediately. They gathered their things slowly, avoiding eye contact. Karen glared at me one last time, frustration and embarrassment written all over her face, before slamming her car door and driving away. When the mountain finally fell quiet again, I stepped into my cabin for the first time. Dusty floors, old wood, cracked windows, but it felt like home. Later, I walked out onto the ridge and looked at the land stretching beneath the sunset. For the first time that day, the mountain felt peaceful, and it felt completely, undeniably mine.